Oh, okay. Imagine just trying to beat the dude who gave you everything, and you utilize fucking ancient samurai power and nearly kill him. Wow, that's fuck. Ooh, I like this. I have a feeling we're about to one-shot this guy. Close enough. Yeah. Spatial translocation. Oh. So it can teleport anywhere. Oh, and can also take body parts. Oh, that's crazy. Oh my. I have an injury down here. I need some healing if you catch my drift. Bro straight up was like, I'd rather die than continue this conversation. I like to cut myself too. Don't you dare. Losers flock together, I suppose. Does he work for the soldiers or something? He is the soldiers. People were always bitching that he wanted to take her in, and he said, go fuck yourself. He stood on business. That's my kind of guy. The fact that he looked at her as his own daughter, too, is amazing. That's a casual reveal that I was not prepared for. Okay, okay. That's fucked. Jesus Christ. That's one hell of a backstory. Those are just some of my highlights, though. You want to get full live reactions, today's episode's going to be over on Patreon, but Petals of Reincarnation episode 2 is here, and I'm even more hooked in than I was after the first. Was very disappointed to see so much pushback against episode 1. Is what it is. I'm used to the anime community disappointing me. But what didn't disappoint me is this backstory. So, dropping the fact that we have a girl who was literally so ostracized that no one wanted her around, and then in comes a best boy daddy dearest who says, not only am I going to adopt said child, despite all of the pushback, you can't bring her in, you can't treat her as your own, he says, fuck you, she's my daughter. What a G, right? This man gives her everything. He teaches her the art of the blade. And it's not that she's this horrible person. She just naturally wanted to be able to have the power to be worthy of standing next to him. Insert demonic blood arts where we slit our throat and we harvest the power of someone in the past, and she accidentally cripples him for life. This well-respected dojo, training so many people who he kept being told, do not take her in. And he says, I will. She ain't no demon. She ain't gonna cause a ruckus. I will treat her like she is my own daughter. And the thing that's so interesting is, had she not overheard constantly people telling him that, like, she wasn't worthy to stand next to him, blah, 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 she's not worthy to inherit your name, she had to chase after power one way, and that became, you know, this almost like trying to find a needle in a haystack. I actually thought she fully killed him, and I'm not sure what would be worse. Waking up from this, knowing you'll never be able to hold a sword again, and that the girl you put all your faith in is the reason behind it, or dying, not knowing what happened. At some point, we're going to have this confrontation. We're going to have the full story, because, I mean, based on how she talked about him in the backstory, you wouldn't think that he'd be able to forgive anything, but this is a hell of a fucking twist. I mean, these are the types of backstory moments that elevate a show. Now, sometimes it elevates I wasn't really paying attention to, ooh, I want to check out more. For me, I left the first episode, I'm very excited for more, so this just furthers my enjoyment. And, you know, I saw a wide variety of criticisms last week, some of which, while I might disagree with, I understand where people are coming from. Okay. We end the last episode with the MC being like, I'm going to be as scummy as possible. I'm going to take what I want, when I want, how I want, where I want, blah, blah, blah. You're not into those types of characters, it's fine. It is very funny when I see people with Salgo Tiny the Evil profile pictures say it, but, you know, I digress. But, you know, I might disagree with it, but I can understand. But then I just really feel like shows like these, if you had insert large YouTuber say it's the greatest thing ever, a majority of the same people who say it's generic bullshit, we've seen it time and time again, would be acting like a parrot saying, Master told me it's great, so therefore I know it's great. I don't know, it's like, I really feel like anime fans anymore, if it doesn't have buzz, if it doesn't have people saying, oh my god, you have to check this out. An example, Witch Hat from this season. If we didn't have people before the season started saying how great it is, it would have half the viewership it currently does. Not saying it doesn't deserve the viewership, it absolutely does. But there's so many shows similar to it that I'm like, oh, why didn't we watch this one? It's also very good, similar to it. The internet is sheeps, right? They want to be guided into the pens, and I do my best to guide you. But at the end of the day, if you think this show is any edgier than a lot of the shows that have come out and been hyped up. I really think you're fooling yourselves. I do. And I honestly think some of the people who might have had some pushback last week may want to check out episode 2, because at the end of the day, our MC is going to be a little less edgy than I was expecting. And on one hand, that will probably help some people, and then on the other hand, maybe it will lower the interest for the people who are really excited for a I don't give a fuck attitude MC. But to be honest, I kind of like the back and forth that these two have going on. Their little pinky promise of, I'm going to, basically she's saying, I'm going to make my talent so great, you can't help but want to steal it from me. And he's basically saying, I'm going to get so many abilities that no matter how hard you try, you'll never be worth stealing from. It's silly, it's a little cringy too, but I kind of fuck with it, given the fact that we have one guy who always has felt inadequate, and we have a girl who's been told she is pathetic and just a demon. So they kind of work for each other, and they're going to be constantly the goal they're trying to surpass. And in doing so, I think they'll just always better the other. I do think he'll have moments of edge. I do think he will steal, but I don't think he's going to be stealing every episode. And he'll steal only the best abilities, which should probably limit him from becoming like Ben 10,000. Instead, he'll just be Ben 10. He'll have 10 unique abilities rather than a collection of 10,000 like in his adult years. If you understand that reference, you're a real one. But I fuck with it. The animation and art style they're wonderful. Just looking at the show at a static level, you can skip anywhere, and I just like how the characters look. I especially like what they did with the captain. So when we decide to hunt Buggy the Clown, there's these armed soldiers observing them. In hindsight, should have saw this coming, but as soon as he left the apartment, I was like, he probably has a connection. I wasn't expecting him to be the captain of the whole army division. I mean, bro effortlessly took down a woman and said, hey, I could have broke all your bones if my homie didn't want to bang you, so be thankful. So I'm interested to see, because for right now, the army is going to be leaving these two alone because he is the captain. He said, leave them be. But at some point, we're going to have to throw hands, and I think it will happen sooner than later. I'm not going to be surprised if before episode 6, we have a confrontation between him as well as our MC. I'm not sure how our MC will be, because his whole thing is, I want to be better than my brother. Like, we knew that after last week's episode, right? Like, he was always put down, like, your brother's better than you, blah, blah, blah. So I think we're just adding more fuel to that fire. And I think in a way, as exciting as it was for me being like, oh, it's going to be super interesting seeing a character who's just going to tear down anyone and everyone, I think what they did with episode 2 does make him a long-term, more engaging character than he initially was. On top of the fact they teased a lot of different abilities, and one of which is probably one of the coolest abilities that we'll see this season. I mean, we got Isaac Newton, we got Einstein, one of which is obviously gravity-based abilities, but I think the most interesting is the concept of being able to warp reality. So not only in the way that you can teleport yourself, you can teleport things away. So I do have questions about the limitations, because in theory, this is a character who could kill anyone. You could have literally Satan spawn into this world, and we could just teleport Satan's head off of his body and he'd bleed out. In theory. I don't know, it's a super interesting ability, and I think we're finally getting into more of the heroic kind of spirit type vibes that we didn't really touch upon crazy last week. Like, there was some, but everyone's gonna know Newton, everyone's gonna know Einstein, right? Like, it's just, it's very interesting. Either way, I think a stronger episode than the first, and I thought the first was great. Maybe some people who were naysayers on episode 1 will find more enjoyment this time, or I'll just hear about how edgy, mediocre trash it is, because we don't have enough big YouTubers claiming it's hype. Anyway, you let me know your thoughts down below. Drop a like, share, support, subscribe, ring that bell, and of course, Patreon. We will have the full live reactions over there no matter what. And hey, if you're already over on my Patreon, I got to give you that video shout out too, because my patrons are why you can get these YouTube videos at all. All right, so today we got C, Dennis Jansen, Groundvert, James Reinhardt, DX, FBI, Old Do, Lorena Frazier, Marcus Reuters, and Alias Cortez. So I appreciate the support. Please take care. You know, have a good one.